I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
And a child shall lead
Buy our
them.
merch. Buy our merch.
Yeah, mini Sori in the house.
Yep, she is cool. She's so cute.
This was an alliance pick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't that on the alliance side?
Yes, it was.
So there we are.
Sin and glory.
This is a Sin and Glory Chris Culp. Hey, Chris. So Chris got lucky on Madden, and then ever since then, he's been avoiding me. Why are you avoiding me, Chris? Why are you avoiding me, bitch?
He got lucky.
Respond to my texts, bitch.
He got lucky.
Bitch. You know, like, bitch.
Bitch.
Anyway, you guys know about the alliances because you just saw the little update video.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I have a quick story. I'll make it quick. So I went to McDonald's and they have like 2 drive-ins, so you can do 2. Well, everybody was in a single line, so I thought, wow, why is everybody piling into one line? Well, I'm just gonna go into the second line because it was clearly shorter. When I got all the way up to the front, I realized everybody was in one line and splitting off just at the last second. But I was already up there now, so I'd have to like go all the way around, and I wasn't gonna do that. So I went in the line, and the whole time, like, this guy pulls up behind me, and he's like, "You bitch, blah blah blah, bitch," and I was like, couldn't figure out why it was so entertaining to me, and it wasn't offensive at all. And then I realized Vinny and I are watching this show right now, and like left and right, this character that's very endearing, he's like. He just kind of reminds you of like your messed up little brother.
Yeah.
He's like, he'll be like saying all these things, then he'll be like, a bitch. And like he says it all the time, so it becomes like a phrase for him. So then when it got said to me, I was more entertained, and I figured out that's why I was entertained, was because of the show. So watch a show where somebody says that. You won't be insulted by the things people say. That's the message there. All right, let's start this song.
Shout out to Emily Lee, one of my favorite Homo sapiens on the motherfucking planet.
All you bitches out there, shout out to you.
Okay, all right, let us go. It is time. This is Ronnie James Dio, and the name of the song, dear listener, that we're listening to today is All the Fools Sailed Away. we had this debate with
Interesting.
with Jamie. We're talking about like what era would you like to have been in?
Yeah.
And I was saying the 80s was the best.
Yeah.
Like by far.
Yeah.
Like it just was, man. Like the music is just, it was just deep and serious and like when 80s musicians like, you know, they would set the atmosphere. It was like, and like you just like they always made it feel like there was like some anticipation something was gonna happen. Everything was just so big in the 80s. Obviously we didn't experience much of it, but like the hair was big, then the obnoxious neon colors.
Yeah.
And like
a lot of hairspray.
The hair, yeah. I mean, like
honestly, I love the smell of hairspray because of the 80s and 90s.
I was like a small kid, but we used to on the bus. We used to have these, you know, like I don't know, hall monitors, but they were, you know, they were really good, like. You know, older teenagers, we were like little kids, you know, 3, 4, 5 years old. But I just remember like this girl, big black hair, and like she just smelled like a freaking chemical plant, bro. Because she, and like the hair wouldn't move. And God, and you know, it was a Christian school, it was a little private Christian school, so everybody was huggy. And like she hugged me one time, and like I kid you not, like my face got scratched because her hair was like frozen solid, and she just like it was like $1.50.
Wow.
Yeah, like, but I don't know, man. Like the 80s are just, and there's Zonia like completely like destroying my dream. I grew up in the 80s. I was glad when the style
I'm trying
faded.
to pick up a picture because I want to show it to people because I've got something to say about the album. That's what I'm trying to find.
What the Dio record?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like. Obviously, the hair metal stuff, blah blah blah. Like I can't take that seriously, but I'm not doing a very good job describing it. It just seems to me like the 80s, like there was just like a lot of excitement, and like even the movie soundtracks.
But I don't know
like
if it
and
was
in the
really
90s,
that way or if it just felt that way to us. Because you know how everybody looks back at their past with nostalgia? Like, is that what's happening to us?
No, because my formative times were the 90s. We're children of the 90s. We're not really children of the 80s.
But it was influenced by the 80s. The 80s and 90s kind of...
The only, in my opinion, the only influence that the 80s had on the 90s was we're going to do something completely opposite. So the 80s had the hair bands with the tight jeans and the girls on the Corvette in the video. What do you have in the 90s? Flannel, grunge, no girls in the video.
No, you know what happened, I think? You know how Maine is always behind the times? Honestly, Maine is behind the times, and Christian Mainers are even farther behind the times.
100%.
So I think that what happened in the
100%.
80s, I experienced in the 90s. So you're saying that the 90s was different than the 80s, but I think that my 90s was 80s style. Honest to goodness, if I look back at my pictures and stuff, when I was like 10, that would have been in 95, and we were doing the 80s stuff.
No, I'm with you. Pufferfish. I remember exactly where I was. I was in the 5th grade, and it was Port Malabar Elementary School, and I was in this thing called a portable. So a portable is basically...
Yeah, it's a trailer.
It's a trailer because there were just two. So we were in portable 5. Mm-hmm. So shout out to Mr. Pegram. My mom did Mr. Pegram dirty. Shout out to Mr. Pegram.
Yeah.
So anyway, we had music. You know, you go to music. Well, the music teacher would come to our portable. And he was like, all right, so there's a new style of music out. Does anybody know what it was? And then we had this kid in the gifted class. His name was Nick. Nick pretty much functioned like Dorian, like almost exactly. Brilliant mulatto kid, brilliant. So it was, and we were a crew. It was Nick, me, and then Mike. Me and Mike were close because he was the one that would, you know, he's the one that introduced me to the X-Men and all that. We'd run around all the time and we'd play fight as X-Men or whatever. So the guy comes in, he goes, okay, who knows this new style of music? Sure enough, Nick says alternative, And then Mike starts naming Nirvana. Well, me and Mike never talked about me. I was like, what is this you're talking about? Nirvana, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was alternative music. But the aesthetic for alternative music, especially in the 90s, it was, we're going the complete opposite direction. Kurt Cobain, it looked like he never washed his hair and ever, right? Like, same thing with, like, the if I watch an 80s music video, and I think, what does it smell like? I always think about popcorn and hairspray and like candy or something. But when I look at these 90s videos, I just think about body odor, and this guy slept in that shirt, bro. Like you slept in that shirt on the way to the auditorium, and you woke up and there's still, whatever, and you just came to play, bro. Like, and you're out, and you're not, and it was just this very cynical, like, oh, everything is like a facade and none of it's real, and the only thing that's real is my pain, and you know what I'm saying? So and that's when I came up. That's when I became conscious of music, started listening to music, was that period of time.
How old were you?
I don't know. 6, 7?
See, I think we got into grunge when I was like 12. Not musically, because we weren't doing the music thing, but like, I know that there was a stark difference between my clothes prior to that, and then at 12 it was like a big baggy shirt. I had Dare to keep kids off drugs.
Oh, 100%.
I thought it was so cool. I was
100%.
like, yes, the movement,
100%.
protecting these children.
Yeah. And I didn't have like, so when I look at this Dio song, so I miss Dio completely.
I'm going to send you this picture so you can put it up.
I didn't get to, honestly, the channel introduced me to Dio, who is, in my opinion, the best vocalist in metal. Like,
he's really good.
It's like, we were looking at, I think his name is Tosin. It's a guy from Animals as Leaders. And he's got his 8-string monster of a guitar. And he's like, so, and I'm watching him. He's going back and forth with this other guy. And the other guy is a badass himself. Like, the other guy, I forgot what the guy's name was, but he's a badass himself. So they're like jamming, going back and forth. So then Tosin has this thing where like he'll arpeggiate a chord, but not with the pick, with all of his fingers. So like, I'm studying this guy, and like,
oh my God,
all 10 of his fingers are involved in the music. So
was that the one we were listening to in the car?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was really good.
So the guy goes, show me how you do that. So he's got a G or whatever, and he arpeggiates the G, but he does it with his fingers. So it's got like 19 different layers to it.
This is not replicatable.
And so the guy is following along with Tosin, and then Tosin goes, yeah, you got it. And then he goes, and it was like me doing this. Like, it was so simple for him. And the other guy goes, yeah. Like, it was like done. Like, the other guy was mega talented, but Tosin is like, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this guy's name correctly. Yeah, I just started looking at his stuff. And yeah, Becky, not really hammer-ons or offs, like, not that. Like, the guy, he's extremely innovative, genius, unbelievable guy. I think Ben was the first person that introduced me to them, actually.
Oh, really?
And because it was Ben, I was like, oh, these guys, I'm not gonna look at them at all. I don't really I don't listen to any of Ben's recommendations. Sorry, Ben. But like, holy shit, this guy, he's just on a different level. I'll put the link in the but like, my point is, it was just so simple for him. And that's one of the ways that I gauge whether or not a person has mastered a given thing. Mm-hmm. Can they do it off the top of their head and just do it effortlessly and keep going? Like, me, I believe I could play that specific little lick, but it would take me literally 48 hours straight of watching it and doing it. And then once I've got it down, I would be very labored in replicating that. And that's my point. Like, you look at Michael Jordan shoot a fadeaway, it's just fluid. It's effortless. You look at LeBron doing it.
No, you're right.
There's a ton,
You're right.
ton of effort.
You're right. Yeah, because I think that you're good when you play. Like, I think that you're good, and the stuff that you put together, I think you definitely are talented in that stuff. But I wouldn't say that it looks so easy that it's like a, you know, like sometimes people are playing, and the playing itself, not just the sound, but the way that their hands move on the instrument, it's like a dance. And I think that really separates some musicians from other musicians.
Right.
Like just the way that, like you say, the way it just comes naturally from inside of them. Like, yeah, I would agree.
Like, I had this friend, and the guy was just, he'd roll out of bed, check his, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, some people, stuff is just,
it's like
there's some people.
It was just like the groupings were like literally there's no variables in the groupings. They were like that tight, and the guy was just and different positions, stress position, weak hand shit. Like the guy was just. And look, you'll see we go out to the range. It's like after a while, it's like but like there's some people who are just, and it's strange to me because of my theological pacifism, whatever. Like there's just some people that are like that guy.
He was born for that. Yeah, the accuracy.
And it's like one of those things like. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, we got this thing from XCR. Chi-Chi. Mm-hmm. And like you'd be there and you whatever, and everybody looks at Chi-Chi and like boom, and you're gone. That's it. Like that's Dio. Like Dio is Chi-Chi. Like the guy is insane. He's insane. Like how he just does it vocally, and it's amazing, and it's just smooth, man. It's like melted butter and sugar.
Yeah.
And it's just
even the lyrics at the beginning, the way that he was singing it and the words, there's perfect harmony in the rising and the falling of the sea. And as we sail along, I never fail to be astounded by the things we'll do for promises in a song. Like, I love the ocean. Like that is, if I can be outside in the sun, I'm happy. And if I can be outside in the sun at the ocean, I'm really, really, really content. There's something about just the way that everything is just so expanded, and the water and the sound and everything. Like, I don't know, it is my thing. And so when it was saying that, like, and the way that it's true, like the tide comes in, the tide goes out, or the rhythm of the waves and how they just keep coming in, and like you can almost, like, if you're a person that likes to meditate or something, like it's a very good environment for that. Not if the beach is so crowded you're getting sand kicked in your face. Not then. I'm talking about when the beach is not that full, and it's just like it's just coming, and you need time. For me, like that's the perfect spot for me to think, because there's the noise, and I don't know, it's just the way that it the patterns and the rising and the falling and stuff. So when he was singing, like just the way that his voice was at that point, like it kind of pulled you into it. I really liked that a lot. Hey, can you pull up that picture that I sent you in the email?
Yeah, it's a little bit choppy. If I do that,
it's gonna be worse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I agree. Lyrically, I was like, I wonder what he's talking about. The closest I could come to what he was trying to say in the song was he trying to like talk about like what rock stars do, right? So they travel over land and sea, obviously. I never fail to be astounded by the things we'll do for promises and a song. We are the innocent, we are the damned. We were caught in the middle of the madness, hunted by the lion and the lamb. We bring you fantasy, we bring you pain. If it's your one great chance for a miracle, or we will disappear, never to be seen again. So it looks
I think you're right.
It's talking about like what musicians or artists bring to people. And again, like it's true. In the 80s, it just looks to me like the bands were just so big that it was like, I remember one time we went to some wrestling thing, and my brother goes, I am in the same building as Hulk Hogan. I am breathing the same air that Hulk Hogan is breathing. And that was the first time I'd ever heard anything like that about somebody that wasn't my mom. Because, like, my mom was, like, a divine being to me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, who? I was like, Hulk Hogan. Yeah, but, I mean, we got mom right here.
Aww.
But, like, that... But, again, that, like, idolatry of your, like, your like... Kurt Cobain did not embrace that. He did not embrace, like, if you see me, this is going to be some magical experience. He was like, yo, I'm coming to play. I'm going to play my music. I want to get out of here. It's not like he didn't love his fans. I'm sure he did. It's just, but the vibe was different. In the 90s, you didn't want to be that. You were supposed to be, like, this kind of, like, aloof type of thing. And that's probably one of the reasons why I never really got into music, that world. And then I saw Korn in Woodstock 99, and Jonathan was in a kilt and a leather shirt until he took it off because he was just
too hot.
And it was like something anomalous, something that you do not see every day. And these guys there was a certain glamour to Korn. It was weird, but there was a certain glamour to it. Like Manson was like shock rock. Korn there was a certain glamour to it. And so these guys, I mean, it was, I told you, like, the first time I saw Korn, like, how I almost killed myself, like, after, because it was such a high. I wonder if anybody else feels that way. Tell me in the comment section. It was such a high, like he was saying, like, it was a miraculous thing. Like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I'm like, I'm in this building, and the same moves that they're doing on the video or at Woodstock, they're doing it right now. I was just like, and I was just like, I remember driving home. I wasn't driving home. It was my best friend's girlfriend at the time. His mom drove us home. I remember driving home, man, and everybody was like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And I was playing along, but I was just like, yo, this is the best my life is ever going to be. Like, you know, I'm 16 at the time or whatever. I'm like, this is the pinnacle of my life. I'm never gonna have another amazing experience like this again. I should just kill. It wasn't even like I was just like, yo, my life is over. It was that impactful to me, like, being there and then to not be there anymore and to not have that to look forward to, like, it crushed me. So, and obviously I'm such an extreme personality, so obviously, like, kids were not doing that in the 80s, but it was just, they were gods, you know, like, and then Kirk and what's the other band? This is the one that I like more than Nirvana. I keep talking about Nirvana, but the other band that I like more than Nirvana was Pearl Jam.
I almost said Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam, yeah, all those guys, and Stone Temple Pilots, it was all like, hey, I don't want to be famous, man, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, if I ever had the misfortune of becoming famous, that's how, you know, I mean, you know me, I'd be like, you know what I'm saying? But so when he's talking about that, I think the song is just about what rock stars do, and the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're the innocent, we cut, we bleed.
Yeah, they didn't do this part though. Like, I'm curious to know why. Colby, let me know why you guys picked the official. It was shorter and it didn't do all these lyrics. So it never got to We're Innocent, We Cut, We Bleed. It ended with, I don't think it got to that one, right?
No, it did. Yeah.
I think it stopped before that.
That's why I
think
said
it
there was
this.
there was
I think you're right though about your interpretation of it. I just thought it was just talking about people in general, you know, like that we all kind of experience this. But then when I was reading it with I was like, yeah, okay. Hunted by the Lion and the Lamb. If you say your interpretation is correct, then that would be, there are fans that are like the Lion. They will like tear you apart. They're the ones that they don't care if you're friggin' tired. They don't even give a fuck. Like, they're just gonna take. Like, they'll be the ones that, you know, like, remember somebody stole Tom Brady's outfit or something like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
jersey,
Like,
yeah.
those are the Lions. And then there's the Lambs, the ones that are not so aggressive, but they're still out there trying to take. You know what I mean? And I think that, you know, like, as in they're expecting something from their band, which is understandable because, you know, if you go to a restaurant and you order a burger, you expect to have a good burger. And so people are expecting a certain level of music from them, and they have to perform for that. Mm-hmm. So I think that, there's both of them, but they're still feeling like they're hunted, whether it's the lion or that it's the lamb. We bring you fantasy, we bring you pain. So like, just depending on what music that they bring, depends, how it's interpreted by the people.
But if he has a religious background, hunted by the lion and lamb still works. Because I would imagine it'd be very hard to be religious in that context. Mm-hmm. So, the scripture says your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion seeking who it will destroy. Mm-hmm. And on the other side, Jesus is obviously the Lamb of God. That's his primary designation in the book of Revelation. Mm-hmm. So you've got hunted by the lion and the lamb. So a lamb, how does a lamb hunt you? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, that's why I said they still want something from you. But it's just like the regular, it's your regular fans that are not going to like go so crazy, like become like stalkers. Yeah. But they're still expecting a certain level of music. It's the, like how people will be like, oh, that's not the Iowa album. You know what I mean? And then they're only expecting Slipknot to put out that same type.
Oh, yeah,
You know
what
I mean? And they can't make any variants from that. They have to stay on the same thing or people will get all upset and sell out and blah, blah, blah and all that. So the pressure that they have,
Also, Viva Mexico. Shout out to Mexico. Yeah, we bring you beauty, we teach you sin. Yeah. We can give you a piece of the universe.
Or we will disappear, never to return again.
Yeah. But that's what they do. That's what they do, though. Mm-hmm. That rock.
Can you bring up that picture?
Rock stars. That's what they do for us, man. And I think that's. I think it's a really sad thing, like that people don't don't know what that experience is like, man. This picture?
Yeah, shoot. Should I put a side-by-side with the album and send it to you so you can see? Look at the album cover. You can see how that made me think of that picture.
Oh, yeah.
So do you want me to put a side-by-side?
I mean, yeah, go for it.
This picture impacted me so much when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
You're about to see a picture that impacted Sori like you wouldn't believe when she was a kid.
I spent a lot of time looking at it and thinking
Did you really?
Mm-hmm.
How come?
Well, I'll explain it when it pulls up.
Okay. I don't
want to give anything away.
I can kind of see why that would be the case. But yeah, man, Dio was crazy. And the thing about Dio that's crazy to me is that I can't believe that sometimes I think to myself, like, if it wasn't for this channel, I'd have never heard any of this dude's music. That's not true for Pantera. Like, if it wasn't for this channel, I would have still known who Pantera was, because of Walk. But I really didn't know, like, how good Dime was as a guitarist until this channel. So I thank the channel for that. But I still knew who Pantera was. Dio, though, I didn't even know he was alive. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know what he was. And it really, if it wasn't for the channel, I'd have never, ran into probably one of the most gifted vocalists of all time, in my opinion. So,
yeah.
Is it a picture of Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
Oh my word. My friends were so into him. Okay, I send it to you, babe.
That dude, man, oh my gosh.
I remember my friend being like completely obsessed with him and like wanting to marry him. And I was like, no, it's not that one.
It's the most recent email you sent me. Go ahead, talk to the people.
But yeah, it's that one. But anyway, she was like obsessed. She had his pictures up in her room.
This is a friend. This is a friend of Sori's, guys.
No, I wasn't allowed to have pictures of guys up in my room. Are you crazy? Mm-hmm. Anyway, I remember sitting in her room and thinking that like there was something wrong with her because she was like obsessing. Yeah. I was like, this is really bizarre. Like, you're obsessing about someone you will never meet, probably.
Well,
you're never going to marry this guy. Like, she wanted to marry him. She was, like, totally in love with him. I thought it was the most bizarre thing ever. I was like kind of sideways looking at her and her obsession with this guy. I didn't realize, like, how normal that was for girls because we weren't allowed to have magazines. We weren't allowed to listen to bands. We weren't allowed to obsess about anything, blah, blah, blah. So
So here's the picture.
Okay,
Sorry,
are
maybe.
we up? Okay, so you can see, I don't know if it's your left or your right, you can see the album cover, and there's like that creature outside the window, and the child is sleeping, and then it looks like there's some stuff underneath the bed. You've got the devil symbol coming out, or metal, whatever you want to say, and like it looks like there's like some little demon on the kid's bed. So on the picture, it's on my right. I don't know if it's on your right, but there's a father, and he's praying over his kid that's sleeping, and if you look outside the window, this picture's kind of grainy, but like the actual picture that my parents had was super clear. There's like a light white angel that has his hands up with it, like his hands are open, and there's like this darker angel that's like fighting to get in. And so obviously you get from the picture that the father's prayers are protecting the son from, you know, this spiritual darkness that's trying to come and disturb the child. And my father, okay, you can shrink it down now. Obviously, like, nobody's parents are perfect, but one thing that my dad did, I do not remember a time that my father didn't do this. Every single morning, he had to be gone by the house at 5:30 because he was self-employed, so he had to get to work. He had to be gone by 5:30, so he would get up even earlier than that, and he would get a coffee, and he would spend time reading his Bible and praying literally every morning. Like, most people would be like, I'm gonna sleep in. Not my dad. Like, if I got up to get a drink or to, I don't even know, get up to go to the bathroom, like, and I would come by, I would see my father like literally kneeling, like with like the prayer position, like old school style, like into his recliner chair like this. So his knees were on the ground and his hands were like this into the chair, and he prayed for us every single morning. And he also prayed for you, Vinny, because he also prayed for our spouses, our future spouses. Every single morning he did that. That was something that was like super impactful to me. Like, and that picture, like, I really felt like that my dad's prayers protected me from like a lot of stuff. So
Oh, most definitely.
that was, yeah, that picture was up. I think in our like living room or in their bedroom or something. But, when I saw the album cover, obviously I was like, that reminds me, there's a creature, but there's no dad to pray that creature away. Cause it was like a little kid sleeping in the bed, and then that little, it was coming out from underneath the bed and on the bed.
Yeah, there's a little demon on the
You
thing.
need a dad to pray for you.
All right, what do you get the song?
A 9.8.
I haven't heard Dio in such a long time. I can co-sign that. 9.8. That was legitimately a good one. I really, 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 really love Dio, man. Such a gift to the world. Thank you. See, how can you doubt that God loves me more than everybody
Oh
when there's
my
people
gosh.
like Ronnie James Dio on the planet? Okay. What would happen
If Vin were a jerk, that would mean he would have prayed for a jerk. Think about it. Well, no, then
Ladies
I
and
would just
gentlemen,
say
this is Ben Webb, and then down here is the big homie Dan, who is
loves his daughter and let her
loves-
do his hair.
loves his daughter.
9.8, y'all.
9.8, and I believe the big homie Dan agree. He's gonna murder me. So me and him, the minute we see each other, it's gonna be a bro hug, and then it's gonna be a Kimura.
Or a slap.
Okay. Having said that, thank you very much for this episode of Vin and Sori. Why am I thanking them for the episode? I have no idea.
Because they showed up to watch it.
Oh, that's
You
true.
didn't just let us sit by ourselves like,
Thank you for the company. Vin out.
sorry,
Down.
I was going to say like losers, but then I was afraid that people would be like, wait, I'm sitting alone. Am I a loser? So I didn't say it.
You should have said it. Well, we're coming up on 2 hours. Thank you very, 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 very much for everything. And with that, dear listener, we bid you adieu. We bid you adieu.
Bye.
What do you mean we're leaving already, Amy? We've been around for 1 hour 57.42. If it wasn't for you, hey, Bible boogiers, if it wasn't for Emily, we would have a Bible boogie this Saturday. But Emily said no Bible boogie. So, sorry, guys. We would have had a Bible boogie, but not anymore. Pastor of Muppets, good to see you.
We love you too.
We love you very, very, very. Middle Earth. Bitches! Did you just call me Amy? I'm pretty sure I just called you Amy, Emily. I'm not going to lie. I'm not gonna lie.
Excuse
And
you.
I'm just gonna quit while I'm behind. So with that, we bid you adieu. Perkinos! Did you know that Perkinos is in the house?
I figured.